The United Nations is crowing with self-congratulations over the defeat of a rebel group in the Congo. And perhaps crowing is legitimate because this could be, I'm very cautious about this, but this could be the beginning of the end of that terrifying fratricidal war which has devastated the Congo ever since the end of the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Now, how did the UN do it? Well, they came to their senses. They finally created what they call an intervention brigade of 3,000 military personnel with firepower who could go on the offensive. And so they supported the government troops and they routed the rebels, and that is a very considerable accomplishment. But why did it take so long? Why didn't they do it 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago? They could have saved hundreds of thousands of women from grotesque and brutal rapes. Why? Because they're women. And when it comes to women, the Security Council of the United Nations moves from paralysis to inertia. Second, the United Nations is crowing yet again, this time UNAIDS, over the fact that President Museveni of Uganda has taken an HIV test in order to get the rest of the country to test and to resuscitate the effort of Uganda against the AIDS pandemic. After all, it wasn't so long ago that Uganda was the poster country for the fight against the virus. And that too is worthy of plaudits. But why does no one say to President Museveni and his wife Janet Museveni that they were extraordinarily mistaken? It was idiocy, in fact, maybe you can't use that language with the president, to support abstinence, to prioritize abstinence over the use of condoms, which undoubtedly added to the prevalence rate in Uganda. But no one says that. What is it about President Museveni's relationship with UNAIDS that he seems to be immune to criticism? And finally, a very positive note. The African Commission on Human and People's Rights has passed a resolution condemning the criminal sterilization, forced, coercive sterilization of HIV-positive women. By God, I'd like to strangle the doctors who are involved in it. But it seems to be a pattern which is spreading to some other African countries. So now you have this condemnation, and you also have a little NGO in Kenya, first-rate, principled, and I think setting a precedent. It's called KELAN, the Kenyan Legal and Ethical Issues Network on HIV and AIDS, that's going to take some of these doctors to court, and maybe other aspects of the medical establishment as well. More power to them. How did this criminal behavior happen where the women are involved? Because they're women. It's always women. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.